You are not struggling to reach God. You are being quieted so you can recognize that He has been with you the entire time. The silence you are experiencing is not absence, but an intentional invitation into conscious awareness of God's nearness. Silence removes the noise that once defined how you recognized connection. When familiar signs of reassurance fade, attention shifts inward. This is not loss, it is redirection toward a deeper kind of awareness. In silence, presence is no longer proven by feeling or activity. It is recognized through stillness. You are being invited to notice what remains when nothing is being reinforced. God's newness becomes something you perceive rather than something you are told. This awareness matures faith beyond dependence on constant affirmation. Silence trains attention. Without frequent emotional signals or external confirmation, you begin to notice subtler movements, a thought that brings clarity, a calm that settles unexpectedly, a restraint that protects you. These are not absences. They are quiet forms of presence. This invitation also refines expectation. You are learning that connection is not always dramatic or expressive. Nearness can be steady, consistent, and unannounced. Silence teaches you how to rest in presence without needing it to perform for you. In TCSN, awareness becomes relational rather than reactive. You are not chasing signs. You are recognizing alignment. God's nearness is felt through stability rather than intensity. This creates trust that does not fluctuate with mood or circumstance. Silence also strengthens inner listening. When external voice is quiet, discernment sharpens. You learn to recognize what aligns and what does not. This listening is not strained. It is calm. It is formed through patience rather than urgency. What feels unfamiliar is not distance. It is intimacy without distraction. God is not stepping away. He is drawing closer in a way that requires your attention rather than your reaction. This kind of nearness changes how you relate to Him. It becomes less transactional and more relational. Conscious awareness develops through consistency. As you remain present in the silence, your perception adjusts. You stop waiting for something to happen and begin recognizing what already is. God's knownness becomes the atmosphere rather than the interruption. Silence also heals dependence on sensation. Faith matures when it is no longer fueled by emotional highs alone. This season anchors trust in truth rather than experience. What is built here will remain steady even when circumstances fluctuate. The invitation in silence is to slow down, to notice, and to remain. God's nearness does not require proof. It requires attention. This awareness deepens intimacy and stabilizes identity. You are not being ignored. You are being invited to perceive differently. The silence is not empty. It is filled with presence. As you remain in it, awareness grows, and nearness becomes undeniable, not because it is loud, but because it is constant. Emotional fatigue and unanswered prayers signal a shift from striving toward deeper spiritual presence and communion. When effort no longer produces relief, something within you is being invited to change. This is not failure. It is transition. The exhaustion you feel is not because you are weak, but because the season of striving has reached its limit. Emotional fatigue often arrives when you have been carrying responsibility beyond what was required. You have been trying to hold outcomes together through persistence and intensity. God allows this fatigue not to punish you, but to release you from patterns that were never meant to sustain you. Striving can maintain movement, but it cannot cultivate presence. Unanswered prayers can feel like distance, yet they often mark the end of transactional faith. When prayers are no longer immediately resolved, the focus begins to shift. Instead of asking for change, you begin to notice God Himself. Communion deepens when the relationship is no longer centered on results. This shift invites you to remain rather than to push. Presence replaces pressure. You learn to sit with God without an agenda. This kind of communion does not depend on emotional energy. It depends on awareness and trust. What is formed here is quieter, but far more stable. Fatigue removes illusion. It reveals where effort has replaced reliance. When strength runs out, authenticity begins. You are no longer presenting your best self. You are simply present. This honesty creates space for real connection. Unanswered prayers also refine desire. You begin to recognize what you truly need versus what you have been requesting out of habit or fear. This clarity aligns your heart with God's timing rather than your urgency. Communion deepens when you stop negotiating and start resting. God is not asking you to do more. He is inviting you to be more aware. This awareness transforms how you experience His presence. It becomes less about moments and more about continuity. This season teaches you how to dwell rather than visit. Spiritual presence becomes a place you live from, not a place you access occasionally. Emotional fatigue creates the stillness necessary for this depth. You are not being withheld from, you are being drawn inward. The lack of immediate answers is creating space for a more enduring connection. This connection is not fueled by intensity, but by faithfulness. Striving ends where communion begins. Emotional fatigue and unanswered prayers are not signs of distance. They are signs of invitation. God is leading you away from effort-based faith into relational presence. As you respond, you will discover that what you were seeking through striving has always been available through nurture. God forms conscious contact in stillness, not through effort, explanation, or constant reassurance. Stillness creates the environment where awareness can settle. When movement slows and striving quiets, perception sharpens. What cannot be grasped through effort becomes recognizable through presence. Effort often creates noise. It keeps the mind active, searching, analyzing, and attempting to secure certainty. Explanation does the same. It tries to define what must be experienced. Constant reassurance trains dependence on repetition rather than trust. Stillness removes these patterns so contact can form naturally. Conscious contact is not achieved. It is received. It emerges when you stop reaching and start remaining. In stillness, you're no longer trying to feel close to God. You begin to notice that closeness is already there. Awareness replaces pursuit. Stillness teaches you how to listen without strain. You are not waiting for a dramatic confirmation. You are becoming attentive to subtle alignment. A sense of peace. A steady clarity, a choir for strength. These are not absences. They are expressions of nourishment. God uses stillness to mature trust. When reassurance is reduced, faith moves from dependence on feeling to confidence in presence. This confidence does not fluctuate with emotional shifts. It remains anchored. Explanation can satisfy curiosity, but it cannot produce communion. Understanding has limits. Conscious contact is relational, not intellectual. Stillness allows the relationship to be experienced rather than analyzed. In stillness, control loosens. You are no longer managing outcomes or interpreting every moment. This surrender opens space for connection that is not mediated by effort. God meets you where striving ends. Stillness also integrates your inner world. Thoughts slow, emotions settle. The body rests. This integration makes awareness sustainable. Conscious contact becomes something you carry rather than something you visit. This process does not require isolation from life. It requires internal quiet. You can be active and still remain inwardly still. This inner posture allows contact to remain continuous. God is not withholding reassurance to test you. He is inviting you to grow beyond needing it. Stillness teaches you how to trust without repetition, how to remain without proof, and how to be present without effort. Conscious contact formed this way is steady and enduring. It does not depend on circumstances or mood. It is rooted in awareness. God meets you in stillness because stillness removes the barriers effort creates. When you rest there, contact becomes clear, natural, and unforced. Biblical encounters confirm that true alignment with God is recognized in quiet, hidden moments rather than noise or activity. Again and again, alignment is revealed when movement slows and attention turns inward. God does not compete with noise. He waits for stillness, where recognition can occur without distraction. In Scripture, the most defining moments often happened away from crowds. Alignment was not announced. It was realized. These encounters were not driven by urgency or performance. They were marked by attentiveness and surrender. God spoke where hearts were quiet enough to receive without distortion. Noise creates activity, but alignment requires awareness. Many were active before they were aligned. God did not meet them in motion. He met them in pause. In those moments, direction became clear, not because circumstances changed, but because perception did. Hidden moments remove external reinforcement. There is no audience to affirm obedience. This reveals motive. Alignment is confirmed when faithfulness continues without recognition. What remains consistent in secrecy becomes trustworthy in visibility. Biblical patterns showed that God often withdrew people from activity before clarifying purpose, not to delay them, but to ground them. Without this grounding, calling would have been filtered through ambition or fear. Quiet preserved clarity. In hidden places, identity is secured. Names are redefined. Direction is clarified. Strength is formed without display. These moments were not dramatic, but they were decisive. What was settled there shaped everything that followed. Alignment recognized in stillness is internal. It does not rely on signs or outcomes. It rests in knowing. This knowing produces peace rather than excitement. It steadies rather than stimulates. God's voice in these moments did not shout. It aligned. Activity can distract from misalignment. Success can mask disorder. Silence removes those coverings. In quiet moments, what is not aligned becomes visible. God uses this exposure to restore order, gently and precisely. Hidden encounters also protect timing. Premature exposure would have diluted what was being formed. God often concealed alignment until it was strong enough to withstand pressure. Quiet allowed roots to deepen before growth became visible. True alignment did not come with immediate resolution. It came with assurance. Those who encountered God in stillness did not leave with all answers. They left with direction and trust. That was enough. These patterns confirm that alignment is not loud. It is settled. It does not rush. It remains. God reveals himself where there is room to recognize him without interference. You are not missing God because life feels quiet. You are positioned to recognize him more clearly. Alignment is forming beneath the surface. What is being established now does not need noise to validate it. Biblical encounters affirm this truth consistently. God aligns in the hidden place. What is recognized there becomes the foundation for everything that follows. This season is shaping an identity rooted in presence, chosen, preserved, refined, and aligned through sacred stillness. What is forming now is not built on performance or momentum, but on awareness. Presence is becoming the foundation of who you are, not something you reach for, only in moments of need. An identity rooted in presence is steady. It does not rush to prove itself or demand recognition. Chosen does not mean hurried into visibility. It means set apart with intention. This season is teaching you how to carry that, knowing quietly, without needing affirmation to confirm it. Preserved means protected from fragmentation. Sacred stillness is holding you together while unnecessary pressures fall away. You are being kept from environments that would pull you out of alignment before you are fully anchored. Preservation is not delay. It is care. Refinement happens gently in stillness. Without constant activity, the inner world becomes visible. Patterns, fears, and attachments surface not to shame you, but to be released. This refinement is not harsh. It is precise. What remains is more integrated and less divided. Alignment through stillness, reorders, priorities. You are learning how to move from agreement rather than impulse. This alignment brings peace because it removes internal conflict. Decisions become simpler. Direction becomes clearer. Sacred stillness also reshapes how you experience God. Presence replaces striving. Communion replaces effort. You are learning to remain rather than reach. This shift deepens intimacy and stabilizes trust. An identity formed this way is resilient. It is not shaken by change or silence. It knows where it is anchored. This stability prepares you to carry responsibility without losing yourself. Chosen, preserved, refined, and aligned are not separate processes. They are happening together. Stillness weaves them into a coherent identity. You are not being dismantled. You are being integrated. This season is not empty. It is full of quiet formation. What is being shaped now will support everything that comes next. Presence will guide you where effort once drove you. Sacred stillness is not withdrawal from life. It is deeper engagement with what matters. It is learning to live from alignment rather than urgency. When this season gives way to movement, you will not leave presence behind. It will move with you. Your identity will remain rooted, steady, and clear. This is the fruit of sacred stillness.